Every Sigma male believes he's walking a sacred path toward ultimate freedom, a journey of detachment, mastery, and self-reliance. You strip away the noise, the attachments, the dependency on others. You become sharper, quieter, more in control. Each step feels like evolution, like you're transcending what ordinary men can't even comprehend. But there's something waiting at the very end of that path. A final form. A transformation so absolute, so irreversible, and so quietly horrifying, that even the most disciplined Sigma feels a flicker of fear when he glimpses it. And the truth is, some of you are already halfway there without even realizing it. Because there is a final evolution. An endpoint to the Sigma journey. A version of yourself that emerges when every instinct for control, solitude, and self-sufficiency is pushed to its extreme. You think it will make you untouchable, a myth, a legend, the pure embodiment of independence. But it's not. What's waiting there isn't enlightenment. It's something darker. Something hollow. A creature born not from strength, but from the slow erosion of your humanity. This video is going to show you what that creature looks like. The monster that waits at the end of the maze. The one that doesn't roar or attack, but simply stares back at you with your own face, emotionless, detached, and empty. If that thought unsettles you, good. It's supposed to. Because what's coming next isn't motivation, it's a warning. 1. The final form, the hollow man. Let me describe something most men will never understand. The hollow man. He is the Sigma male's final evolution. The silent dead end at the farthest edge of independence. The place no one warns you about because almost no one makes it there alive. At least not inside. From the outside, the hollow man looks like perfection. He's composed, refined, successful. He's probably built wealth through discipline, mastery, and obsession. He owns his time. He answers to no one. He lives in a beautiful home that he designed exactly how he likes it, minimalist, controlled, pristine. Everything in his world is efficient, optimized, and under his command. He's the embodiment of what most Sigma males believe they're chasing. A man untouched by chaos, unmoved by drama, unbound by need. He is self-sufficient. Emotionally unshakable. He's the ghost every weak man envies and every woman can't quite understand. And yet, behind those calm eyes lies nothing. Not peace. Not contentment. Not joy. Just a vast, echoing emptiness where his soul used to live. He has spent years cutting, refining, and optimizing himself. Removing everything that made him vulnerable, emotional, or dependent. And in doing so, he's carved out the part of himself that felt alive. What's left is an immaculate shell. A man who performs life like a well-programmed machine. Executing routines with military precision but no pulse beneath the surface. The hollow man wakes up at 5 a.m. sharp. He trains his body because it's what disciplined men do. He eats clean, works efficiently, builds projects, plans strategies, and hits targets. Every movement is deliberate. Every decision, optimized. He's a model of consistency. The kind of man people look at and think, he has it all figured out. But what they don't see is the silence inside. The kind that hums like static in the background of every thought. He doesn't feel accomplishment anymore. He doesn't feel anticipation. Every task, no matter how meaningful it once was, feels like another box to tick off a list that never ends. He's productive, yes. But he's also a ghost. Haunting the structure of a life that no longer excites him. When people talk to him, he listens. He mirrors emotion perfectly, nodding, smiling, responding at all the right times. He's learned to replicate humanity so convincingly that nobody suspects how gone he truly is. They think he's stoic, wise, deeply centered. But the truth is, he's not centered, he's hollowed out. He's not calm, he's absent. He's watching himself interact from somewhere far behind his own eyes. Like a puppeteer operating a body made of routines and reflexes. Every conversation feels like a script he's read too many times. Every laugh he gives feels rehearsed. He's there, physically, but spiritually, he's long gone. Success means nothing to him anymore. Not because he's reached enlightenment, but because his brain's reward system has burned out completely. He's achieved everything he set out to achieve. And it all feels exactly the same as before. There's no thrill, no dopamine, no satisfaction. He keeps setting new goals not out of ambition, but out of desperation. Hoping that maybe this one will make him feel something again. But it never does. Relationships? Impossible. Not because he's unattractive or unworthy, but because there's nothing left inside for anyone to connect with. He doesn't crave love. He doesn't even crave sex. Only the mechanical repetition of what intimacy is supposed to look like. Women are drawn to his mystery, his quiet strength, his control. But when they try to reach him, they feel it instantly. The emotional dead zone beneath the surface. They talk to him, but it's like talking to an advanced AI. Responsive, articulate, but soulless. He touches them, but his touch feels distant, procedural. He's had sex where his body moved perfectly. But his mind was somewhere else, detached, watching like a spectator. No spark. No passion. Just motion without meaning. The hollow man has friends, technically. People who still message him out of habit. He agrees to meet them sometimes. Sits across the table, nods, laughs, and asks questions. But it's all part of the ritual. Inside, he feels no connection, no curiosity, no care. Their stories bounce off the walls of his mind and vanish into the void. He's mastered the performance of friendship, but not the feeling of it. And here's the most chilling part. The hollow man doesn't suffer. There's no pain, no sadness, no longing. Suffering requires emotion. He's transcended it, and that's the problem. He's not depressed. Depression still hurts. It still aches. It's heavy, dark, suffocating, but it's alive. The hollow man doesn't have that. What he has is nothing. A clean, sterile emptiness that neither hurts nor heals. Sometimes, he stares into the mirror for minutes on end. He recognizes the face, the features, the age, the scars. But it feels foreign, like looking at an old photograph of someone he used to know. He knows it's him, but he doesn't feel that it's him. He's become a stranger wearing his own skin. A memory trapped inside a machine. At night, he lies awake, staring at the ceiling. The silence feels infinite. He thinks about disappearing, not out of despair, but with the same detachment you'd feel about deleting an unused file. He's not suicidal. He just can't find a logical reason to keep existing. Life feels like a process he's already completed. This is the ultimate Sigma transformation. This is what happens when you achieve every goal, master every weakness, and cut out every emotional tie. Only to realize that in the process, you erased the part of you that could even appreciate it. You became perfectly self-sufficient by killing the self entirely. This isn't poetry. This isn't exaggeration. It's the cold, logical endpoint of the Sigma philosophy taken too far. When independence becomes isolation. When emotional control becomes emotional death. When strength becomes silence. The hollow man isn't a myth. He's real. He's walking among us. He's the man everyone respects but nobody truly knows. He's the man who won the game. And discovered too late that the prize for winning was emptiness. Number 2. Why Sigma males walk into this trap. Here's the brutal truth about why the hollow man is almost always a Sigma male problem. It's not because Sigmas are weak or broken. It's because the very traits that make them powerful, free, and self-sufficient are the same ones that lead them straight into oblivion. Other personality types, alpha, beta, even the so-called normals. They have natural brakes built into their psyche. They need connection, approval, love, validation, or belonging. Those dependencies act as invisible guardrails, keeping them from falling too far into emotional isolation. Sigma males? We remove those brakes on purpose. We dismantle the safety systems. We call it freedom. The guardrails other men have. Alpha males can't become the hollow man, not fully. Their ego won't let them. They require an audience, a stage, applause, respect, admiration. They exist through the eyes of others. That dependency, that craving for external acknowledgement, is the very thing that keeps them tethered to the world. They may be narcissistic, arrogant, or attention-hungry, but they're engaged with life. They need people to see them win. That dependency keeps them human. Beta males, on the other hand, need relationships like oxygen. They crave emotional connection. They long to belong, to love and be loved, to have people to care for and to be cared for. Even when that need makes them vulnerable or dependent, it keeps them alive inside. They can't drift into emptiness, because isolation feels unbearable to them. They might break down, but they'll reach out. They'll seek comfort. And that's what saves them. Why the Sigma has no safety net. But the Sigma male. He builds his identity around the rejection of all dependency. He worships the concept of needing no one. Every step of his evolution is about detachment. From society, from validation, from expectation, from emotion itself. He trains himself to walk alone. To never depend on anyone. To master emotional control so completely that nothing, and no one, can touch him. He calls it self-mastery. And for a while, it is. He cuts out toxic people, develops discipline, stops seeking approval. And it feels like progress. It feels like enlightenment. But that's the trap. Every step deeper into isolation feels like growth. Every layer of detachment feels like strength. Every bit of emotional numbness feels like control. There's no alarm that goes off when he's gone too far. Because going further is the Sigma's creed. The more he detaches, the prouder he feels. Until he wakes up one day completely detached from himself. The illusion of progress. That's why this trap is so lethal. It doesn't look like a trap, it looks like victory. When a Sigma cuts off toxic people, he's praised for his boundaries. When he becomes emotionally controlled, people admire his stoicism. When he no longer seeks approval, he's seen as unshakable. When he isolates himself, it's mistaken for peace. But these are not milestones of evolution. They're warning signs of erosion. The slow, silent death of the self. The Sigma keeps pushing forward, mistaking disconnection for power, mistaking numbness for calm, mistaking detachment for transcendence. And the more he succeeds, the more hollow he becomes. He's removing everything unnecessary from his emotional life. But emotions are the operating system. Remove them, and the machine still runs. But there's no one left inside it. The perfection that destroys. The Sigma who becomes the hollow man didn't fail. He succeeded too well. He followed the philosophy perfectly. He optimized every trait. And like an engineer who overclocks a machine until it burns out, he reached the logical endpoint. Self-sufficiency without self, control without emotion, existence without meaning. He thought independence meant freedom. But freedom without connection becomes exile. He thought emotional control meant mastery. But mastery without feeling becomes emptiness. He thought not needing anyone made him powerful. But needing no one eventually means being no one. This is the paradox that destroys him. Every Sigma value taken to its extreme leads to its own negation. Independence becomes isolation. Control becomes paralysis. Freedom becomes emptiness. And self-sufficiency becomes self-erasure. The difference between strong and hollow. The truth is, you can be independent without vanishing into loneliness. You can have emotional control without amputating your feelings. You can be strong without becoming stone. The difference lies in balance. Knowing when to stop optimizing, when to accept that enough is powerful too. You don't have to transcend every human need. You have to learn how to carry them with strength. The strongest men aren't the ones who feel nothing. They're the ones who can feel everything and still remain unbroken. Strength isn't about becoming untouchable. It's about being able to touch life deeply, without losing your center. A final warning. So if you've listened this far, and you feel a strange chill in your chest, if something about this sounds too familiar, don't ignore it. That's not weakness. That's your humanity still trying to reach you. If this message made you realize you've been disappearing, drop a comment with the word aware. Tell me which part hit hardest. That's how awareness begins, by naming it. And if you know a Sigma who's walking this same path, share this with him. He may not thank you now. He may roll his eyes, act like he doesn't care. But one day, he might look back and realize you tried to pull him back from the edge. And if you are the hollow man, if you're reading this right now, feeling nothing at all, then you need help that no video can give you. Professional help. Because you've reached the point where your survival depends on remembering you still have a self. Remember this. The goal was never to become invulnerable. The goal was to become capable of feeling and surviving it. That's what real evolution looks like. That's what real strength is. The hollow man isn't the final boss. He's the game over screen. 3. The path back, remembering how to feel human again. Here's the truth that every Sigma male eventually has to face. If independence is your religion, then connection is your redemption. You don't save yourself from becoming the hollow man by giving up your strength. You save yourself by remembering why you built it in the first place. Because strength, by itself, is empty. Power without purpose is just machinery. Discipline without direction turns into routine. And independence without emotion becomes a beautiful kind of death. The path back isn't about abandoning who you are. It's about integrating what you've rejected. Reclaiming the parts of your humanity you exiled while chasing perfection. Step 1. Reconnect with the real world, not through people, but through presence. The first step isn't to force socialization or fake relationships. It's simpler, quieter, deeper. You start by reconnecting with reality itself. The sound of rain hitting your window, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the feeling of wind against your face when you walk outside. You've spent years training your mind to detach, to analyze rather than feel. Now it's time to reverse that process. Put down the phone. Turn off the music. Go somewhere still, somewhere silent. And just exist without a goal. No productivity, no purpose, no plan. Just feel the moment and remember what it means to be alive. The hollow man can't feel because he's always doing. Presence is the antidote. It reawakens the dormant parts of you that still know how to experience life, not just observe it. Step 2. Let connection return, slowly, imperfectly, authentically. You don't have to become a social butterfly. That's not what this is about. It's about allowing yourself to be seen again. Not as a flawless Sigma archetype, but as a human being who bleeds, doubts, and feels. Start small. Talk to one person with honesty, not performance. When they ask, "How are you?" don't default to, "I'm fine." Say something real. Even something small. "I've been off lately. I don't feel much these days." You'll be surprised how many people understand exactly what that means. Connection doesn't return through intensity, it returns through authenticity. Not every conversation will heal you, but each genuine exchange will pull you 1 inch further from the void. Step 3. Redefine strength. Sigma males are obsessed with strength. We crave control, composure, clarity, and power over ourselves. But what if real strength isn't control, but trust? Trusting life enough to let it touch you. Trusting people enough to let them in. Trusting yourself enough to not need to be perfect all the time. Strength isn't about holding on so tightly that nothing can reach you. It's about having the courage to let go and not collapse. To open your heart and still remain grounded. To let pain enter without letting it define you. When you realize that vulnerability and strength are two sides of the same coin, you stop fearing emotion. You stop resisting connection. You stop running from the very thing that makes you human. Step 4. Rebuild meaning from the inside out. The hollow man's greatest tragedy is not emptiness. It's the loss of meaning. He's achieved everything but feels nothing because he no longer knows why he's doing it. Meaning doesn't come from success. It comes from alignment. From doing what matters to your soul, not just what feeds your ego. Ask yourself, why did I want independence in the first place? Why did I crave solitude? Why did I reject the world? The answer will always lead back to something human. A wound, a betrayal, a disappointment, a desire to protect yourself. And that's where the healing begins. Not in achieving more, but in understanding more. You rebuild meaning when you stop running from your reasons and start facing them. Step 5. Keep your edge, but don't live on it. You don't have to abandon your Sigma nature to heal. You just have to stop letting it consume you. Keep your independence, but don't worship it. Keep your discipline, but don't make it your identity. Keep your emotional control, but don't use it as a wall. Being a Sigma male was never meant to be about detachment from life. It was meant to be about freedom within it. Freedom to move, to think, to feel, to live by your own code. Not to disappear, but to exist on your own terms. You don't have to become a hollow man to stay free. You just have to remember that freedom without emotion isn't strength, it's exile. Final words. If you're hearing this and something inside you stirs, even a flicker of recognition, that's a sign you're not gone yet. That means your soul is still alive under all that armor. You can come back. You can rebuild what you thought you outgrew. You can be strong and still feel deeply. You can walk alone and still love fiercely. You can be a Sigma, without becoming a ghost. The hollow man was never your destiny. He was just a warning sign on the road to something higher. The next evolution of the Sigma isn't detachment. It's integration. Becoming a man who can master solitude, without losing his humanity in the silence. That's the true final form. Not the hollow man, but the whole man.